Hey boys and girls, Squee913 here with another Mass Effect type video. I know I seem to be doing these quite a lot lately. Maybe I got the Mass Effect fever, I'm not really sure, but they're fun. And this one more so than most. I have been on the social network forums, BioWare social network of course, for a while, and anyone who's familiar with them will be familiar with a thread saying we can't save the Earth, we can't beat the Reapers. Created by Safra Dedden, who is a common regular member there. And to quickly go over what she states, basically the idea is that we cannot beat the Reapers because even if we destroy all the Reapers on Earth, the Ezo core will make Earth unlivable, which is a different argument altogether. I'm not even going to get into that. And so we can't possibly hope to defeat them, so we should just surrender and become part of them. Because, assuming, and I'll give her the assumption here, or he, I don't really know, I will say them, the assumption that if we are integrated into the Reapers, we keep some semblance of ourselves as a human Reaper. I don't really think that's true, but let's give the argument that we should just go ahead and give up and turn ourselves into Reapers. That way, we at least maintain a part of our legacy instead of being completely wiped out. Now, I personally think this is absolutely ridiculous and rubbish, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video was that many people on the forums, and specifically Lotion Soarnar, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, has stated several times that you cannot beat the Reapers in a direct physical conflict, that you need some sort of MacGuffin, that it is absolutely impossible, no matter what we try or do, to actually beat the Reapers in war alone, that without some sort of MacGuffin we have no way of winning. And he proposed yesterday on the forums a war game of sorts to try and put the matter to rest. Basically saying he takes control of the Reapers and lays out a strategy for how the Reapers will take over the galaxy, and if we can't come up with any possible way of defeating them, then the story is null and void, and there's no possible way we could beat the Reapers. He laid down several ground rules, he laid down a strategy for how the Reapers will do it, and he challenged anyone to try and come up with any possible way that the Council galaxy, or the whole galaxy as a whole, could possibly defeat the Reapers. Well, challenge accepted. Now, before you go any further, I want to make absolutely clear that this video is going to be lots of logistics and tactics and strategy, etc., etc., and if that does not interest you, you should probably stop watching now. Alright? I warned you. Now, I should say that I don't necessarily disagree with them. I personally think that there will be some form of MacGuffin. We'll find some Reaper weakness, something. I don't really know, but I don't think we're going to just win it through a straight-out conflict. But that doesn't mean it's not theoretically possible. I don't have to come up with a strategy that has a probable chance of success or a high chance of success. I just need to come up with a strategy that has any chance of success in order to accomplish the goal. And so I've done it. Let's take a look at, I hope, anyway. Let's take a look at his strategy. And Lotion does seem to have a pretty good head on his shoulders. He has a pretty good idea of what he's talking about. So, like I said, I don't necessarily disagree with him. I'm doing this more because I loves the challenge of it. So, he states that the Reapers will... Okay, let me read this. To take the Reapers' forces, command that. Let's see if you can win this. The Reapers will strike the infrastructure and power generation and food production first, starting with the biggest and most vital planets. Shipyards are the primary targets in space. Reapers will move in force. At no point will any force fleet consist of less than 50 Reapers. Should the kinetic barriers come in danger of collapsing, the Reaper will disengage and FTL to another unguarded enemy asset, or if no such exists in the vicinity, to a pre-established rally point. Destruction of key enemy infrastructure takes precedence over total annihilation of all resistance on the planet. Once all the primary objectives have been completed, the Reapers are to move on to the next planet or world, possibly leave a small force behind to bombard the planet from orbit and then follow. The fleets will avoid any unnecessary stops or delays. They will be constantly on the move using hit-and-run tactics. Using precision relay jump to tactically advantageous positions. Send probes to sweep systems for bases and ships and any supply convoys. If the Resistance sends fleet assist from somewhere else to reinforce the world under attack, disengage and FTL to the world. I'm sorry, to the world which the reinforcements came and hit it. Avoid getting unnecessarily tied down. Those are his basic strategy principles. Now, when I laid down the idea that we don't have information, as opposed, like, for example, how many ships do they have? How many ships do we have? Do we have upgraded ships since the Citadel attacked? How many positions are we defending? Do they have, are all the ships as powerful as Sovereign, or do they have weaker, say, transport ships? Do they have targets of importance? In other words, if we take out Harbinger, will that affect the Reaper army as a whole, just like taking out the leader of a real army would do? And he basically said, well, plug in what variables you want. You still can't do it. I think his exact words were, yes, you can have a meaningful war game. Input variables as you see fit. Phalanx cannons, more ships than of yours than the Reapers, etc. You still lose. So I will take that to heart, and I will try to be fair about it. But input, however, variables I have to come up with a good good strategy. First of all, I have a serious issue with the idea that if help comes from a world, FTLs in from a world to assist them from the Reapers, that the Reapers will automatically FTL back to the world which the reinforcements came from. How will they know what world the reinforcements came from? One big assumption that is being made that cannot be made is that the Reapers seem to know where everything is. They don't. That was the whole point. They couldn't get to the Citadel. They don't know where everyone's strongholds and planets and everything are. They would have to learn that information just like everyone else. So they don't necessarily know where the reinforcements are coming from. And I want to make this very, very clear. So let's first look at the numbers. We don't know exactly how many Reaper ships there are, but they said that, you know, if you go by the videos, and if you go by the videos, there's thousands. So let's say 2,000 Reaper ships total. Why? That's just a fair-ish number. I guess you could do more than that, but let's say 2,000 Reaper ships. I think everyone will be fairly happy with that. 2,000 Reaper ships, some of them as powerful as Sovereign and Harbinger, probably not most of them, but let's just say 2,000 Reaper ships, alright? What do we have? Well, here is a big misconception, or a big thing that a lot of people don't realize. We have a lot more ships than people give us credit for, 9 times out of 10. They were saying on the forums that, let's say we have about 70 dreadnoughts, all told, all together. Now, I'm also going to point out, since this is a variable, we don't know if the council races will all be working together, the non-council races, we don't know what that situation is going to be like. So, I'm going to take liberty and say that we are all working as a unified force. So, any council ships or non-council Citadel races will all be counted as one allied force. Alright, so 70 dreadnoughts, give or take, from the humans, Turians, Asari, and a couple from non-council races. Safra Dedden was saying maybe about 200 cruisers, 400 frigates. I'll go with those numbers just to keep everything happy. And 50,000 ships from the Quarian flotilla, the migrant fleet. Let's assume that about a third of those are combat ready. So let's say 15,000 combat ready ships from the Quarians, of different makes and kinds. I'm going to be using all 50,000 ships. I'm just pointing out that only 15,000 of them are somewhat combat ready. And the Geth. Why? Because we know the Geth are going to be helping us, for the most part, should be helping us, because they don't want to be wiped out by the Reapers any more than any of the rest of us do. And if you take a look at the codex for the Milky Way Far Rim, Dedden, the planet of Charum, estimated reports of Geth ships in that area are between 5 and 10,000 different types of Geth ships. Now, we don't know if this is all of their forces, some of their forces, only the forces of that planet. We don't know if you saved the heretics, how many more ships would be added onto that, etc., etc., etc. So let's just say 10,000 Geth ships. So, well, our grand totals are the Reaper have 2,000 deadly badass ships, and the Allied Council fleet has 670, let's see, so I would say about 60,670 ships. Yeah. So we definitely have the advantage in numbers. Do we have the advantage in tech? Obviously not. Let's say, so 60,670, of which 25,670 are combat ready. Still quite a high number of ships. Far more than most people give credit for. So, these are allied ships, work as one allied unit. Why? Because it's a variable that I was allowed to take credit or to take liberties with. Just like in World War II, you had one or two leaders that conducted all the troop movements. We would have to do that to stand any chance against the Reapers. And it is possible for such an alliance to exist when everyone's faced with destruction. So, we have our numbers. How many points of interest do we have to protect that the Reapers need to take? No way to tell. But a lot. We're talking about a galaxy here, and we're not just talking about the humans, because as far as I know, the developer said this is a galactic war, not a everyone attacks Earth war, which means that the Reapers are probably attacking everyone, maybe concentrating on humans and Earth more, but they're attacking everyone. So we have to count everyone's infrastructure, everyone's shipyards, everyone's planets and resources. Let's say 500, it's really, the number's not incredibly important, 500 places of importance that the Reapers have to hit. Okay? According to his rules, the Reapers will travel in groups of no less than 50 ships. So 2,000 divided by 50, it means that they can't hit more than, 40 targets at once? Am I right on that math? Math is definitely not my strong suit, but I believe so. So, also, how long does it take to take out a target? Don't know, not really important for my strategy. We'll just say a decent amount of time before they move on to the next. Another important factor to make, according to the trailer that we clearly see on Earth, the Reapers don't just show up to a planet and bombard it from far off. They actually land on the planet and attack it close up, meaning that they probably don't want to annihilate the entire species of planets, or perhaps there's another reason. We don't know if they do this for all planets, but since this is the only information we have on how the Reapers attack a planet, we will have to assume that's how they attack all the planets. Why? Because otherwise you're getting into too many variables. They could attack some, they couldn't attack others, and even Lotion says himself that there's an emphasis put on attacking infrastructure points instead of just annihilating the entire populace. So, let's say a group of 50 ships, Reaper ships, attack a planet. Now, more than likely, you are going to have a separation of those forces. You're going to have the forces that actually go down to the planet, the ground-based forces that do the damage and mayhem, and you will have a section of the force up in orbit for protection and orbital bombardment. I would say that split would probably be about 75-25. 75% of the ships go down to the planet, 25% of the ships stay up in orbit. Why? Because planets are very big. You would need a lot of ships to cover a lot of ground quickly down on the planet core. And the Reapers probably wouldn't see more than a 25% fleet up there necessary, since if they get attacked, they can immediately just have their other 75% break orbit, which would probably take maybe a couple minutes, and then they could join the attack or FTL out of there. So, given this idea, here's my basic strategy to counter it. First of all, we're going to have to give up a lot of ground. And we are going to have to realize that this war is going to have a lot of sacrifices, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. But here's what we do. We understand that we are going to lose a crap load of people and places, and we, for the most part, abandon them. Assume they will be lost. Concentrate on 10, 20, 30 places of importance that are furthest away from the Reapers or hardest to find, locations the Reapers do not know about yet, because the Reapers don't know where everything is. And those are going to be our places of importance. Everything else will be used as part of the sacrificial strategy that I will get to in a moment. Also, the Quarian flotilla, we will relocate all non-military Quarians to some sort of planet away from the Reaper fight. Are they going to like it? Of course not. Are they going to have a choice? No. We're all facing annihilation. So we will be using the entire Quarian flotilla for the war effort. All the civilians will be dropped off on some planet somewhere, and all the ships will be used to support a massive mobile armada. The food ships, the supply ships, I mean, there's 50,000 ships here. That is more than enough to support an extra 10,000 guest ships, 670 alliance ships. I'm saying alliance is in the alliance of everyone, because they no longer have civilians they have to provide for. These fleet, migrant fleet and these ships are going to be a massive mobile armada, as I stated. Now, the most important thing is the Reapers don't know this, and there's no reason why they should. They don't know that we have a massive mobile armada. They are going to assume, like most people would, that we are going to be based on planets. We will have stronghold planets where we go for supplies, where we go for food, where we go for regrouping, rearmament. They don't necessarily know that we're planning on using the migrant fleet for all of that, which the migrant fleet has been more than capable of doing. So, it is vital that they don't learn this information. And, well, they could learn the information. Yes, they could, but again, I'm not coming up with a foolproof strategy here. I'm just coming up with a strategy that has a chance of working. Alright, so, here's what we do. Let's say the Reapers break off into groups of 50 to attack different targets. They attack 40 some odd targets, okay? We plan a simultaneous attack with our entire armada of, I wouldn't say 60,000 ships. I would say 27,600 ships. All the combat-capable ships. We split that between 10 targets of importance. Or not even of importance, just 10 targets of 50 Reaper ships. Probably of least importance, actually, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. Then here's what we do. At simultaneous time, to be coordinated in advance, we attack all 10 targets. How do we attack them? Well, we attack them with faster-than-light missiles. What are faster-than-light missiles? It's basically a ship moving at faster-than-light speeds that literally crashes into Reaper ships and the planet. I looked on the FTL drive core. There says nothing about how accurate a ship is during FTL travel, but considering the fact that they have to avoid planets, stars, asteroids, dust, etc., I would assume that in normal FTL travel you can plot a course trajectory with some accuracy. And we can have people on site of where the Reaper's attacking, relaying information, say quantum entanglement. There's no reason why others can't know of this technology as well. It wouldn't have to be used very often, but can relay exact coordinates of Reaper ships during the attack. An attack would not be very quick. It would take hours, even days, to attack a planet and then move on. During that time, we can get the information of the basic whereabouts of every Reaper ship, and here's what we do. Let's say there's 10 targets divided between 20,000, 26,000 ships, right? Is that what I said? In which case, each target would be attacked by 2,600 ships simultaneously. They would jump in at the same time, FTL in at the same time, immediately attacking the fleet in orbit. Now, if they can accurately maneuver enough or to slam into Reaper ships in FTL drive, they will do so, causing massive damage. I guarantee you one single frigate-sized ship moving at faster than speed lights, slamming into a Reaper, will probably take that thing out. If they can't travel accurately enough to attack those ships, then either way, what they will do is you will have several, maybe 10 frigate-sized ships slam into the planet itself, and I can almost guarantee that you can accurately traject that course. Why? Because that will cause massive devastation to the planet and the Reapers on it. Can you imagine if an asteroid the size of, say, a football field were to crash into a planet moving a fraction of that speed? It would be catastrophic. You take 12, 13 of them moving at 200 times that speed, or way more, 200 times the speed of light, and you could break that planet apart. At the very least, you are going to give a lot of Reapers a very bad day. Yes, you are also going to kill anything on that planet. Sucks, doesn't it? Better than losing everyone. There's no other way around it. It really sucks because you're going to lose the people on the ship, you're going to lose the people on the planet, but it's war. There's not much you can do about that. You will guarantee that within seconds, less than a minute, you can annihilate almost 75% of each attack force on the planet. Why? Because there's no way in heck the Reapers are going to have a chance to get out of orbit before faster-than-light ships smack into that planet. They probably won't have time to react at all. Then all you'll have left is the 25% in the orbital fleet. Now, 26 ships firing on them all at the same time, simultaneously. 2,600 ships firing on, what are we talking about? 15 Reapers, maybe? all at once will not stop all of them, but will damage a lot of them heavily enough that they will not be able to make FTL travel. Let's say half of them escape. So half of 15, let's say 7 Reaper ships escape the entire attack. That means that they just lost, 33 ships of their 50 ships in the attack group. And that's with generous numbers. That's saying that those are the ones that managed to get away from this catastrophe. And it could very well likely not be any of them, especially if we can navigate well enough to smack faster than light travel ships into the Reapers themselves in orbit. Then possibly none of them would survive. Now, you do this simultaneously at 10 different locations, and you're talking about 400 plus Reaper ships taken out in one day. 400 plus of a 2,000 Reaper ship task force. That is a quarter almost of their fleet in one day. That is going to make the Reapers slow down. That is going to make the Reapers rethink what the hell they're doing, because they just lost a massive amount of Reaper ships they were not planning to lose. Now, yes, we also lost ships too. Let's say our losses were heavy. Let's say out of the 26,000 ships that we attacked with, we lost 5,000 of them. So we're down to 21,000 combat-ready ships. All right? At this point, the Reapers have just lost 400 ships. Let's say 400 ships, because that's a very likely estimate with this strategy. And again, you guys can argue against it, and you're more than welcome to, but if a faster-than-light travel ship smacks into a planet, you are not going to have a chance to escape that catastrophe. And even a Reaper cannot survive that force of impact. Alright? So, let's say they lost 400 ships, we lost 5,000. It was a devastating blow, but still, we have 21,000 combat-ready ships, not to mention the entire flotilla behind us. And we don't have to use combat-ready ships as the FTL missiles. They could be transports, they could be whatever, as long as it has faster-than-light capabilities and it's a decent size. So we don't even have to use our combat ships for these missiles. Now, the Reapers have several options. More likely than not, they're going to rethink their strategy because, again, they don't know our forces. They don't have a clear estimate on how many forces They have ideas, but since they couldn't hit the Citadel, they don't know our precise number. They have no idea if we can do that again, which technically we could. But they don't know if we could do that again. If we could hit another 10 targets the next day and they'll lose 400 more ships. They can't afford that. They're going to rethink their strategy. They're going to back up. They're going to regroup. And one of two things are going to happen. They're either going to go back out to planets, attacking them with a larger force per planet, or they're going to attempt to hunt down the armada, the fleets that did this, or both. Now, let's assume that they decide, you know what, we have to take care of this threat first, so we'll ignore the planets for now, because if we send any more fleets out, the same thing could happen. Or actually, let's go with the other one first. Let's say they say, okay, fine, we're going to keep going off to planets, but we're going to send 100 Reapers per group, or maybe 200 Reapers per group, which means that considering you only have like 1,600 people left, you're talking now you can only attack 8 targets at a time. It extremely slows down their rate of advance, giving us more time to regroup, relocate, rearm, and re-prepare ourselves. And basically, here's what we would do again. If they just try to do the same tactic with more ships, we do the exact same thing again with more ships. We attack 2 locations with 11,000 ships per location, same basic strategy, same basic success ratio, unless the Reapers can come up with some way of stopping faster than light travel ships from smacking into a planet, which I don't think they can. It would hit the planet before their sensors even picked it up. So either they lose another 400 ships and they go back to the drawing table, or they say, all right, it's time for us to find this armada, find this, and find their home base and take it out. Because, as I said, it is vital they don't know that we are using a massive mobile armada. They would most likely assume that this major task force has a stronghold, a point where they retreat to regroup and rearm. Now here's what we do. We drop information that we do have such a place. How? Send people to go get indoctrinated. Tell them that we have a location, a home base, and they actually believe that we have a home base, and then they get indoctrinated and tell the Reapers, hey, they have a home base. Here it is. That's just one way of doing it. Does it suck? Yes, it sucks. But again, sacrifices will have to be made if we want to survive this war. But one way, shape, or form, we drop information to the Reapers that, yes, we have a home base. Here it is. And the Reapers go, let's go take it out so that we don't lose another 400 ships. How do they take it out? In mass. They jump to the system that has the home base through the mass relay in one massive jump. Maybe send a probe to make sure the home base is there. And what we'll do is we'll designate a planet close to the relay, and we will put enough ships there to make it look like we actually have a giant fleet there. Say 3,000-4,000 ships, something like that. Most of them not combat ready. Who knows? And we lure the Reapers to this relay, and they will attack in mass. They will attack all at once, and they will attack with, say, 1,000 ships? Let's say 1,000 ships, because they want to make sure they annihilate us without any chance of retaliation. So, and as the codex states that most commanders, when making a trans relay attack, will choose to jump in mass instead of piecemeal, because they don't want to be attacked when the rest of the fleet isn't there. I assume the Reapers, especially with their more advanced ability to jump, would do the same thing. They would scout out the area, see a giant fleet there, and all show up at once. The second they show up, we slam more faster-than-light ships into the relay itself, annihilating every single Reaper that just showed up to take out that base. Again, they couldn't stop us. Their sensors would not even pick up those ships before they hit the relay. And, again, if you slam 20 faster-than-light ships into a Mass Effect relay, I guarantee you will have equal or greater force than the asteroid that hit the relay in arrival. And the explosion would take out every single Reaper there. Now, would the Reapers fall for this trick? Probably. I mean, even if they consider it might be a trap, they have to take out our fleet. They can't keep doing what they were doing before because they don't know our forces and our ability to attack again and again and again. So, if this is successful, and there is at least a chance that it is successful, and that's all I'm going for, we have just annihilated 1,400 of the 2,000 Reaper ships. And then what? And then I'd put the ball in your court. Would the Reapers hightail it out of there? What are they going to do? Because at this point, heck, let's say we lost another 10,000 ships in this fight. Okay? That means that we still have 11,000 combat-ready ships compared to their, 600. We could probably take that in a straight-up fight and beat them, especially with our faster-than-light missiles. Or are they going to return tail and run? Who knows? But at that point, the war has now turned in our favor. Or at the very least, become an even battleground, giving us a good chance of succeeding. So, is this likely to work? Who knows? Way too many variables to be able to tell. Is it possible that this could be an effective strategy against the Reapers? Yes. Thus, my goal has been accomplished. Now, if you find a flaw in it, by all means, let me know. But as far as I can tell, there's no reason why this could not work. And I've been talking long enough, so yeah, I'll throw this ball back in your court. If you can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that this has no chance of being an effective strategy against the Reapers, by your own rules, let me know. And if you do find a hole in it, no hard feelings. I'm sure my theory might have holes in it somewhere. It's a very loosely created strategy based on the variables that we have to work with. You could prove it wrong completely, and if so, like I said, no hard feelings at all. I'll just run back to the drawing board and see if I can't fix it or work it up. So I'm more than interested in criticism. But if you can't find a way why there is no chance for this to succeed, then I have successfully completed the challenge.